Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Cast Revive, your weekly Top 5 VGM podcast. I am your host, Matt Heimerl, and here with the man that truly wishes today that he had a time machine, Mr. Steve Monselsi.
Hello, everyone.
And that's because you just had a birthday.
I did.
You old fogey.
I did. I am. Well, I consider old now.
How do you feel?
Older.
You do?
Yeah. Nah, not really. Honestly, it was just another day.
We'll always have the heart of a young gamer.
Yeah, that's true. I did turn 40. 40.
Goodness gracious.
40 going on 19.
That's a lot of games.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And so many more to conquer.
Yes. Before we go into that, though,
Like your conquering of a game today, sir, which I was very impressed
we will
by.
definitely get into that because I'm very excited about it, even though it's completely unrelated to anything we're going to talk about, but I don't care. We're going to get into it.
Because it's awesome.
We have a super duper awesome, I don't know if we should consider him a guest anymore because he is officially a member of the team, Mr. Brian Huskey.
Yay.
Welcome. And today, if you don't know, we're doing an episode on Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger.
Which is, I would say, Brian, your favorite RPG?
Game of all time.
Yes.
Just game.
And this opening track is the Delightful Specchio, and it's I think it's a good way to start the podcast. It's very light, it's very free, very dancey, and I could definitely see myself getting down with something like this. Steve, what are your you have experience with Trigger, right?
Oh,
I
love
didn't have a
Trigger.
Super Nintendo growing up, so I've never actually completed the game, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who have already just turned the podcast off hearing that I haven't gone through Chrono Trigger. But
Well, if they haven't turned it off,
Another
not going
foul.
through some of these Final Fantasy games, and then they'll be all right. Chrono Trigger was amazing. It was done by SquareSoft, prior to them becoming Square Enix. It was an alternate Final Fantasy. It was different in the gameplay. It was more like Secret of Mana than it was a Final Fantasy title. But, I mean, the graphics were rich, the sound was amazing, and it was just a really good storyline. A lot of time traveling involved in it, and it was really awesome.
what is it, Brian, that you love about it? Because I know you're a huge RPG person. I mean, you've played
for sure.
all kinds of RPGs that I've never even heard of or even have attempted.
Which is all of them.
Just like every single one.
If it isn't Final Fantasy VII, Matt hasn't heard of it.
Oh, man.
Well, for a while, yes, 'cause I wasn't a very big RPG person. 7 was my I would say my true introduction. I played Final Fantasy 3, and I played Breath of Fire, stuff like that. But my real introduction was 7. I'm one of those people. But as long as I've known you, I know Trigger has always been your game. What is it about Trigger that you think just tops any other RPG out there?
Well, Matt, it was my first.
Oh, isn't that sweet?
was.
That's always what we remember.
Everything compares to Chrono Trigger for me.
Yeah.
And I'll say this. I hate time travel. As a writer, I just hate it. The concept is really weird to me. But Trigger's great. It has art by Akira Toriyama, who did Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
Mm.
Yeah. And just the best soundtrack ever. In
It-
fact, I
it
think
does.
right now it's there's some game website that's hosting a best soundtrack of all time, best
Really?
video game soundtrack of all time, and Undertale is beating Chrono Trigger. That's the battle.
Wow.
So
Wow.
that's how well it stood up
bold.
until now. Undertale, you know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Undertale's great. I know that game has the soundtrack is huge. It's like 80 tracks, isn't it? For Undertale,
it's 130 or
Oh, wow. Well, I
140.
was a little bit off.
It's grand.
but it really, it truly is great to see that. And we've talked about this before.
I've never heard it. I've never even heard of the game.
Yeah, it's an indie game, and it's just, but
an indie
it's retro, man. It takes all the nostalgia of the games we grew up playing into this game, and it's great that this game. That these indie games are winning these awards because you're just you don't have these super blockbuster
Right.
things, and it's this little game. It's not super long, but
No.
it's such an awesome experience, and it's just it's great to see that retro is making a very strong comeback. Very strong comeback.
I don't think it ever really left. It's
It went on the back burner for a while.
Maybe,
but
maybe. I'll give you that.
I think it's really starting, especially in Orlando, and where a lot of things going on gaming wise, indie and stuff. It could be we're just noticing it more now that we have so much more social media things
Sure,
promoting it.
sure.
But it's great to see that it's just there's people out there that just refuse to give up and say that was the best era for gaming. Now it's just all about. It's not so much story or graphics. Then it was we need a story to get people, and now we don't have to rely on previous installments. We know they'll just buy it. Now it's like, what do we come up with that's going to just grab people?
Well, and now it's like they don't even go back that far, to bring stuff back to the forefront. I mean, I love Kingdom Hearts. That is my favorite game. But, that was only on the PS2.
Yeah.
And they've already made remakes of it for the PS3. And it's like, why did you... I mean, that wasn't out that long ago.
Right.
We've already remade it and added stuff to it. And here you go, another $60.
Well, Final Fantasy VII is a prime example of that. So,
well, at least with that, you're getting pretty much a different game. I mean, it might be the same as far as story and stuff like that, but that's apples and oranges right there.
I agree. I think it's going to be completely different than the original.
Yeah.
It's going to kill it for me.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to see. I already know it's the battle system and stuff they're doing a little bit different, but. We'll just have to wait and see. We got
make it like Final Fantasy 13 or Final Fantasy 12.
Don't do
the
that.
Best battle system.
Don't do that.
Who said that?
I did. We won't get into that. We have a Final Fantasy episode planned, so we can get into all this. We can get into all this stuff. But before we get into Brian's top 5, because that's what we're doing today.
Hey,
let's talk about Brian's the greatest tracks from Trigger and why he picked them and all that good stuff.
Okay.
Do a little derailment on Sonic real quick. I'm still on that high, man.
It was awesome.
So what did I do, Steve?
There's a trophy achievement for the PS3 and for the Xbox 360 for Sonic Generations. And in that game, one of the challenges was to beat their version of Green Hill Zone in less than a minute. It took, an hour and a half for you to put down the, after watching a video to see the route to take, it was still all about timing and knowing when to speed dash and what to jump over and what to avoid, what to purposely hit to be able to get it. And on the last try, he was like, if I don't do this, Steve, I'm going home. This is it. This is my last try. He got it. He did it with 59.
It was 59.14.
Yeah, 0.14. It was that close.
Yeah.
But he did it.
So me being the reason why it's awesome to me because I'm a huge fan of speedrunning. So to get to actually employ these execution tactics in a game and to see it actually work, it's just it was a highlight.
It was awesome. He's downplaying this big time. It was really awesome.
Yeah, I'm very happy. I'm very happy. So I know that had absolutely nothing to do. I was trying to think of a way to tie in Sonic with Chrono Trigger, but there really is absolutely no way that I can do that unless you can think
Sonic CD. You went back in time in different dimensions.
All right. See?
So there you go.
That's what I was going to say. I'm going to look at the Sonic CD.
There we go. That's going to be our segue.
Because nobody else played it and they had to prove us wrong.
So I think we're ready to move on to your number 5. I'm really interested to see what choices because it's and from doing this, it's extremely difficult of a game with this kind of soundtrack, this or Chrono Cross, or really any game we pick that we focus on. It's almost impossible to come up with a top 5. A little bit easier when there's 2 or 3 people doing this. You have a larger list, but if you're the only person coming up with that list, and you're just like, there's a lot of pressure here. But since it's your favorite game, your opinion rules.
Thanks.
And everybody else's drools.
That's nice.
So, let's go ahead and move into your number 5. I like this track. It sounds very Italian.
It does.
It's the mandolin. Like, if you ever hear the song performed orchestral or symphonic or whatever the term is, when they play the mandolin for that part, it's awesome.
Right.
It's so good. It reminds you of like a Jewish funeral or something.
Wow, that's not where I expected that.
It's got that like Kespa kind of feel to it in the beginning where it's a little hoppy, and then it goes into this like kind of, what would you call this part right here? The whiny synthesizer.
Yeah, no, I can absolutely see it. But that's the good thing about Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross is there's so much like emotion and everything's going on in all of their tracks. It's not just like there's so many things happening that you can like everything that's happening in the scene is like all this stuff fits. Because in this series, it's not like there's just like one thing going on in the scene. There's like 50 different things like going on. So the song kind of hits on like each one, and I think that's why it's it's the Chrono series is. They need to make another one. I'm just gonna put that out.
I was going to say the Chrono series. I hardly think there are two.
The Chrono,
the Chrono Duo. Yeah, there we go. They need to make another one. But I mean, this is what's the name of this track?
It's the trial.
This is the trial. That's right.
Yeah. So basically, Chrono gets put on trial for abducting the princess, Marl. And
Moro.
when the first time this played, I was so annoyed that I didn't get like completely innocent, because at the end you have the jurors come up and they're like guilty, not guilty.
Right.
I had like 4-3, and obviously I won because I got to keep going. But I was so annoyed that I didn't get 7. I went back to an earlier save, and I did the whole trial over again, and then I got 7.
So what do you have to do though? I mean, to actually get, do you have to answer a series of questions that like?
Do you know, Steve? Do you want to build that?
I forgot. I've forgotten.
Okay, at the very beginning of the game, you're at a fair.
Yeah,
And this is where Chrono meets Marl. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people say Marley. I don't, because there's no Y. It's Marl.
I like it. I'll allow it.
I'm not one to argue.
So in the fair, there's a couple of things that you can do, like little side events. Like you have to find this girl's cat. You have to not eat this person's sandwich. And
I would fail that every time.
There's this moment where you like run into Marl and you make her drop her pendant. And so obviously in the court case, they're like, "Oh, you purposely bumped into the princess and made her drop her valuables." And
Shakes fist.
You have to argue all these points, and like I think the first time I did it, I ate the person's sandwich. I didn't know about the cat, so I just bombed out.
Right.
But it felt good having 7 jury members say I was completely not guilty.
There's not one person that thinks I did anything wrong.
And I got to listen to this so much,
Yeah.
it just became ingrained, and it's one of my favorite songs because of that.
No, it's cool that so many things that you do in the beginning of the game, that affects what you do later on.
Yeah.
So what happens if you're found like completely guilty? Is there like an additional side storyline that you have to do?
Spoiler: either way, you go to jail.
Oh, okay.
Spoiler.
You just got spoiled.
By the way, for spoilers, like 1 year. If you haven't done this in like the first
If
year
you've
after
never
it
played-
came
yeah.
out, then that's it.
I need a soundboard. I know I keep saying that, but I want to put like just tap like spoiler. I think that would make it a tad more pro here.
Plus, it's really hard to find this game, by the way. For the Super NES, even I don't have this game.
Wow.
This game is actually very, very hard. Now, I do have the re-release they did for Final Fantasy Chronicles.
Right.
Or Anthologies. One of them
Yeah.
has it in there. And so, I can still play this game. But yeah, trying to find...
Trigger in 5 or Trigger in 6 or something like that.
I don't recall. I know it was re-released in one of those packages.
Yeah, I remember that because I have that as well.
Yeah, but trying to find the original SNES, I mean, loose, you're looking at $75-$80
Yeah,
for that cart if you can find it.
I wonder why, because it was a popular game when it was out. I mean,
because it was really, really, really good.
Yeah,
and a
it's
lot of
just
people don't
so
get rid of it because it's really good.
Yeah,
I got rid of mine.
I know.
Yeah.
If I had all the games that I had gotten rid of when I was growing up, oh my goodness, it was when I got rid of my Diablo 1 PS1 disc. That was my holy grail, and I was just like looking online, like that's worth some money, and I sold it for $1. Because my dad's secretary was like, she was running some money trouble. Just wanted to get her kids. She's like, but do you have any games you want to sell? I was like, yeah, there's a new game coming out, $50. I'll sell you all my PS1 games just so I have enough to buy this one game.
Wow.
So now I look back and I'm just like, oh yeah,
wow,
I was
fail.
I know, just epic.
I did something similar too. I did it with my Super Nintendo, and then I did it later with my Nintendo 64.
Yeah.
I sold them like at a lump sum, and I was just like, I'm not going to play this ever again.
That's why I will never ever trade anything
I
of my games again.
sell.
No.
Oh my god,
No.
It's fun when I go to the stores. They're like, "Hey, you have all these games that are worth this? Go away." I would never sell my stuff. I don't care.
These people like creeping in through your windows. You won't know this is gone. Get out! Chase them with a fly
Got,
swatter.
like laser sensors over all the games. Little bit of trivia before we move on. I'm sorry.
Oh no! Throw it on us.
The cover to Chrono Trigger has a very egregious error on it.
Ooh.
Okay. I think that the 3 characters that are on it are Chrono, obviously, Marl, and Frog. And Frog's on his butt, like he's just had his butt kicked. So that would never happen. 2, Marl is using fire magic.
Oh.
She doesn't use fire magic.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, she uses ice magic.
See, I like that. I like that you just threw something at them, and now they're going to come back and think, you know what? You're going to help us design the next Chrono game because you pay such attention to detail. We want you on board. And I'm going to be like, Brian, bring me in. Bring me in. I can draw Homer Simpson's face on anything.
Not that I doubt you. not that I doubt you, but I'm actually checking this out because that's really cool.
And like maybe that's why people collected the cover. I don't know.
Maybe.
Yeah,
That's interesting. Though
I got rid of mine.
So were there variant covers? Like
I
when
don't think so.
There
I
wasn't
think it was just the one. Yeah.
It was Final Fantasy Chronicles, by the way.
Nice.
It just came up.
Cool.
That has it. Yeah.
cheese and rice, man. I like it. Well, while you're fact checking, we'll move on to number 4, and then we'll talk about all the shenanigans that goes along with this sweet little
look at
gem.
how she does.
I love this track.
Yeah.
That piano jam is so me.
Yeah, it almost sounds like, Zillion kind of quality. Like that.
Comparing this to Zillion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Say something about it.
You're not?
So what do we got here?
How do you like that bass line at the beginning? It's very jazzy.
Trigger is for bass lines and Trigger, dude. I'm always getting down with it. I need to download these tabs and learn how to play some of these songs. It is straight legit.
The music has the best bass, and then it also has like the most screeching high.
Yeah.
What do you call that? Like, because
Yelps.
the highs of this soundtrack are just piercing. They're bad.
It hits both ends of the spectrum in this game, and it's great. But you're right; those bass lines are nuts. I mean, I just imagine like an old funk group, and just you guys just come up with something. They just have like five bassists just going ape shit in the corner. It's like
Bass
just
battle.
hit record, and whatever they come up with, we're using, and we're gonna build all of our music around those bass lines. Beautiful.
This is the music for the final dungeon or final area of the game.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Black Omen, and it's unique in that you can repeat it because this is a game about time travel. You can tackle the Black Omen in the furthest timeline that it's available, and then go back through the subsequent timelines and go
nice.
through it again. So you can like farm all the stuff that's there. You can get like copies of all the like best gear that's in the palace. Or you can just go to the earliest timeline that it appears and wipe it out.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
This is also the only way to get New Game Plus. You have to beat Black Omen.
Okay.
You can beat the game. Well, you can beat Chrono Trigger like anytime you want to. I think depending on when you beat the game, you get a different ending.
Right.
But you can skip the final. You can skip Black Omen. You can go directly to Lava, so you can just fly to him and beat him up. But you don't get New Game Plus.
I gotcha.
So
What does New Game Plus offer? Like, is it just? Is there like different gear or something you can get, or is it just straight up?
I think what it does is it lets you keep all of your gear. It might let you keep
okay.
your levels, and then you can get to places earlier. Obviously, if you do New Game Plus and you have all your levels and stats and badass equipment, you can just go knock out Lavos real quick
Oh, cool.
and beat the game like the first opportunity you have. Like
Oh,
that's how
wow.
you can get that ending.
Now you said that you can go to this final dungeon at the latest time or the earliest time, and if you wipe it out the earliest time, then it's kind of empty. If you go forward in time,
It just disappears. It's gone.
so is there a benefit to waiting to the hardest setting? Like, for example, I've been playing Tales of Xillia 2, and there's an opportunity to bury something in the ground. And at various points in the game, you can come back, and depending on when you decide to dig it up is what it becomes.
Right.
So if you can hold off and like, okay, I know this is going to be awesome, but if I hold off just to the end of the game and then dig it up, it's going to be this epic gear. So is it something like that? Like if you want it, if you open up this treasure chest in like the earliest stage and it's like a potion, but if you wait to the hardest end setting and you open up that same chest, it's now like a mega elixir, you know?
Final Fantasy 12 does that too. It's how you get one of the best weapons in the game. Very early on, I'm not going to talk about it. But
Tangent, here we go. Derail.
Are you talking about the Zodiac Sphere?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
there you
talking about
go.
the Zodiac Sphere.
Zodiac Sphere.
I wouldn't know. I played it for about 45
You can open
minutes.
a chest that's like right in front of your face, and there's a potion in it, or you can wait until like the very end of the game. You get a just really awesome.
The
spear.
weapon that does like 99999
Yeah.
as many times as you can swing it.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Black Omen, the only real benefit to leaving it alone and doing it multiple times is that you get to farm everything that's in there like thrice. If you wipe it out early, I mean, you just get the one run of it. There's no burying it in the ground and leaving it for later. But there are boxes throughout Chrono Trigger that you can find in the world where in one time period you can bring Marl's pendant to it, and it'll say like it's reacting to the pendant. Do you want to open it? And you can be like, nah. And if you don't, you can open it in a different time period where time has elapsed, and you get like a better armor or a better weapon
that's
than
cool.
what was in the
That's
game.
really cool.
So it is like that in that regard.
This game is deep, man.
Awesome.
Like it's the replayability of these of the two games and the Chrono Duo. I'm going to keep saying series because that's just what I want to say. But it's because I mean it has so many multiple endings. There are so many characters to get, and how you get them.
Not in Trigger.
Not in Trigger.
Well, I'm
But
talking
in
about like
Cross,
the series.
yeah,
I'm talking just
for
like
sure,
this
for
series
the
like
whole series.
as a whole. But it adds so much more to these games. Not just okay, I beat it. They think nope, let's go back and get different endings now. And
I was a
do.
little babby when I played this, like, and I figured this. Well, and totally figured all this out. But it's like you guys are saying, like, there was no internet. I couldn't look anything up. But
right.
trial and error and new game plus after plus after plus, I got some of the cool stuff. So
I mean that's cool because you just like you. The first time you're just like, I'm just going to skip this dungeon. I just want to beat the game.
oh, I was
And
so
then-
ready to be done with it.
And then the next time you go through, you do it. And it's like, wait a minute, what's this? I unlocked something. What the hell did I do? This is
Yeah.
fantastic. I thought I did everything. God bless it. God bless old games.
Well, I think Square really did that in a lot of games. It did that in 7. You know, if you were really thorough in doing what you're doing, you get extra characters like Vincent to join you. Because Vincent is completely a hidden character that if you don't do things a certain way, you could miss him. Chrono Trigger has a character that's that way. And I'm not going to spoil it for anybody, but it's actually my favorite part of that game is the fact that they did this. So... You know, Square really takes the time to reward the people for buying their games, and that they do a great job of it.
Yeah, I agree. Anything else you want to drop on us about the Black Omen Temple of
Temple of Doom.
redo multiple times?
Just that this music, if it wasn't playing in that dungeon, I would not do it multiple times.
Yeah,
This really helps you get through it.
This is an awesome track. Is it like? Is it a hard dungeon? I mean, is it like a really hard dungeon?
It's straightforward, so there's no like
Puzzles
or anything like that. But it's a lot of combat right after another.
So it's a dungeon I would like then.
It's one that you want to stick around in though, because you can farm mega elixirs, which are like a heal, full party, full mana, and everything. And then you can also, if you're like really arduous farming, you can get power tabs, which increase your attack.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Which is really great for Isla because she cannot equip weapons. But if her strength, her power is high enough, her fist will turn into iron.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's awesome right there. That's my chick right there.
Isla.
Yeah.
She's the cave woman, right?
She is the cave woman. Yes.
It's coming back. It's coming back.
I like it. Well, let's this next theme I think is fantastic, and I'm very excited to share with all you lovely people. Before you get into what this is, do you guys ever have a track that you hear and it instantly reminds you of something else entirely?
Yeah.
It reminds me of a Rick Astley song, actually.
It's interesting you said that this first thing I thought of was Madonna. At least we're both going, I don't know why.
Wow.
I just like a lot of Square songs do that. Like, I have songs that remind me of Elton John and stuff like that. I don't know what I hear a note and I was like, wait.
I'm over here just shaking my head in disappointment. Just wow.
You just
Nothing,
showed,
Steve?
You just
No,
showed no
nothing.
Beatles. If there were Beatles, you'd have a different.
Well, that is true. That is true. Actually, every time I'll let you tell the name of this song, then I'll tell you what I think about every time I saw this character.
This is Robo's theme.
Robo.
I always thought about if you ever seen Return to Oz.
Yeah.
Yes,
TikTok.
Yes, TikTok.
Oh my god.
TikTok.
Good one.
Yes.
Every time I played this game, I was like, "That's TikTok." I don't care what anybody says.
That's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, wow.
That
I didn't
is
put that
true.
together. I watched that not too long ago.
That is
I'd
a
say probably
freaky
like a year
movie.
ago.
Not to get
That
on
is.
movies, but that is a
Yeah.
mess with your head movie.
And then I stood and thought until my thought ran down. TikTok's amazing.
It's awesome. That actually sounded like him too. That was pretty good.
We're not going to get any better than that, folks. So thanks for listening.
I watched that movie way too much.
I'll just type what the rest of the top 5 are. We're just going to end it on that. But so like, how far into the game do you get Robo? Because he's a pretty. I can't say
Far
like,
as in time or space. Because
That's an excellent way to put it, actually, because you get him
mind is
from-
blown right there, literally.
Robo comes from the future. Obviously, he's from the final timeline that you can visit, but you get him early on. I would say he's the 4th character that you recruit into your party permanently.
Okay.
And he's actually the reason that, the game's reason for Chrono, Luca, Marl, and Robo to be sent to the end of time. Because when you enter a time gate with more than 4 beings, or 4 beings or more,
Right.
you get taken to the end of time. Because you
Nice.
can't travel with a party of 4 after that. So it's cool. And the end of time is like the where you are able to travel. It's the hub.
Right.
Okay,
Nice.
if you guys weren't, restricted from using RPGs, I would have expected to hear the song from that in there. But yeah, that's how you get to all the different times. And Robo is my favorite character.
Nice.
He's also the best. Okay, so
why is this the best? Go ahead. I
can
want to hear this.
Can I explain?
Go ahead.
Okay, so each party member has, once you get to the end of time, you unlock the ability to use magic. Okay, and every character has a specific magic that they can use. Chrono is lightning, Luca is fire, Marl is ice or water. I think they call it water, but she actually uses ice. Robo's a robot. He doesn't have a soul. He can't use magic. How sad is that? But each one of his attacks
Like
has
dogs.
a different... All dogs go to heaven, Matt. They must have a soul.
Oh man, you gotta hit on dogs. Partial, man. Come
Partial.
on. Partial.
Each one of Robo's... oh,
hate you,
jeez. Robo's face kind of looks like a dog.
I'll allow it.
Okay.
And he's like your best friend too. He's loyal, like a dog.
See?
He's loyal.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm waiting for her to finish.
Competition. No, I was waiting for you guys to finish that icy eye movement there. It's like,
No, it's okay. We're good.
okay. So each one of Robo's attacks has a different element. So he can use shadow, lightning, fire, I think. So the only one he doesn't get is water, Matt. I'm sorry.
See, and that just doesn't make any sense to me.
But he heals.
But
allow it.
Frog didn't get any magic. His was just sword arts, right?
He was William Wallace essentially.
Frog got water magic, like actual water magic.
Nice.
Ah.
Well, he got bubbles, and then he got like...
See, if I were to make an RPG, it would be an entire game based underwater, and everybody had water magic.
But was it just innately water magic, or was it like, did he have to team up with certain people to or they just increased the effects when you teamed up with people, right? Because I know they had like the cross cut if you teamed up with
Right,
Chrono.
you had the dual tech.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so-
Yeah, I remember that.
Right.
Just like
So,
in 9.
a
with
lot of
Steiner and
frogs-
VV, they had that
Yeah.
little thing going on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's
Yeah.
like that. And usually it's like Chrono's, I think he got, just like Steiner, he would get like a fire blade or like an ice blade. Frog, I think he teamed up to heal, and then I don't remember the rest. I forget what his techs are.
But there were a lot. I mean, there were a lot of combinations, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that you
Yes.
could do.
Like each character, I think, had a dual tech with the other, except for one, which I don't want to mention because Steve, Steve doesn't want to spoil.
No spoilers.
And then certain people had triple techs, so they could all
Oh,
attack
wow.
at once, and that was pretty much the key to beating a lot of the enemies in the game.
Nice.
But then that they usually rotated around like the main 3 characters of Chrono, Meryl, and Luca.
Right. And I think
It's kind of like the Tetra attack. You know, you had
Tetra
the
attack.
3 main elements.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Yep.
Now, not the Switch games, but I know in Chrono Cross you had like it was like a debuff, so you had to use magic in certain order to like get. Did
none of that.
anything
None
like
of
that
that.
in
I
Trigger?
hated that.
None of
Okay.
that. No.
I
it
did
was-
not like that at all.
I wasn't sure if anything in Trigger carried over, like in terms of how the battle system was.
No. It was pretty like straightforward. Like you see an enemy that looks like it'd be weak to fire, it's weak to fire. Good example is there's these really tough ogre creatures, but they have wooden hammers. So they're going around, they're beating you with these wooden hammers until Luca hits them with fire. It burns their hammer up, and then they're weak.
Ah, nice.
So it, it had a couple things like that in it that were really cool.
Very cool.
Why did the Epic just come to mind? That was their ship, wasn't it?
Yeah,
the Epic.
The Epic is their time pod.
Yeah, I remember that. Then you start out with just thing that had wings, and I remember that.
Yep.
Wow, it's like all coming back.
It's all coming back now.
The Epoch also appears in Chrono Cross.
The Epoch.
Yeah, the Epic, the Epoch.
Oh, nice.
It's in a hidden room, and you just see it crash there.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
A lot of you go back in, and it's gone.
Time just happened. Just like in X-Men Future Past days of multiple revisions.
Just like the DeLorean in the cave.
Nobody likes Back to the Future. Uh-oh, did he say that?
My
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Cut off his mic. Cut his mic. Cut his mic.
He's got the soundboard. I can't do anything.
He just cuts the power off. Everything just goes out.
In a 2-mile radius.
You start ripping fuses out of my box in the back. Don't ever say that again. Well, good. Who was like before we move on? Robo. You said they could do like dual attack, like combo attacks. Who was Robo's like? Who was your favorite to pair up with Robo for like a smash here attack type thing?
Again, I can't say it.
My favorite is when he teams up with Luca because he makes that giant fireball in the middle of the screen and just the whole thing just ignites and hits everything.
He has like a fire tackle.
And she's the tech, right? Luca is the girl with the goggles.
Right.
That goes like, hey, look at me, I got a spanner. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
That is exactly what she says.
Actually,
While she brings
yes.
Robo back to life. Yeah.
Nice. See that?
Hey, look at me. I got a spanner.
See, I should do the voiceovers. For
See,
you.
I told you we should have brought her. She had the spanner.
Love it.
She also has a crash helmet, which makes me worry about her.
Yeah,
Because she's an inventor.
Yeah.
it's true. Gotta have protection,
Luke is great.
It'd be really cool if they made it so that, like, if there was like a story arc where Luca actually invents Robo.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool because you don't know how old Robo is. I mean, sure he's a robot, but when was he created?
Can I just say?
No, absolutely.
You can.
Drop it on.
Here we go. Getting
Just
comfortable.
I want you all, dear listeners, to look at my shirt.
I was gonna say, were you getting excited? Like you're
done
like Justin
looking at my
Nips or
shirt?
something?
Yeah. No,
He is wearing a Chrono Trigger shirt.
It's Gato, which is Luca's creation, which is a bipedal robot. And when she discovers Robo, she's like,
A bipedal robot. These are rare.
That's awesome.
I think it's a throwback to her inventing Gato and maybe inventing Robo.
Oh, see that?
You know what sucks? I had no idea that's a Chrono shirt.
Wow.
I had no idea. I'm sorry. I wasn't staring at our guest's chest. I was just.
First off,
free.
that's
Feel free.
that's rule one
I'm
when
here
we have
for.
a guest is stare straight at their chest.
What are you wearing today? I see.
To quote my favorite character in It's Always Sunny, I gave him an ocular pat down as soon as he came in. Yes.
Nice. I will be a little more attentive
Just stare at me. Just stare at me for the rest of the time.
until the point it becomes awkward.
Yeah, nothing becomes awkward. Every conversation we have is awkward.
Burning the hole straight through me,
People
man.
listening right now are just like, what is going on? I feel very dirty listening to this show. I thought this was about gaming music. Talking about checking out men's chests.
Sorry,
But we do everything here, okay? Everything here.
I want to go home.
No, you're going to move on to your number 3 right now.
Okay, that was my number 3.
That was?
Number 2.
Oh, we're going
number
through
two.
this
See
really
See
fast,
this?
man.
I'm all excited and flustered now. I need a shower.
Yikes.
I know this track so well. I love it.
Do you?
Yeah.
How do you know it so well?
From Cross. They brought this over to Cross.
Did that?
Yeah. Yeah. It did the.
Yeah, we hear it.
Yeah. Like this part right here. This part. they use that same melody in Chrono Cross
I can tell you exactly why they do that.
because it's awesome.
Okay,
But
that's it. That's the reason.
I need the actual. I need the actual,
hard to argue with.
Yeah, I need the actual expert answer, not the other dude.
The other dude.
All right.
All right, so this is going to be a little spoiler heavy, so earmuffs if you choose.
Oh no! I'll
Allow 2 seconds to
Dude,
earmuffs.
I've watched so
and
many
2.
speed runs of the game. I know how the game. So yeah, drop it on me.
Okay, so this is the character Scala. This is her theme. This is Janus's sister and Queen Zeal's daughter. Okay. Mm-hmm. What happens to Scala at the end of Chrono Trigger is she gets sucked into time, and I think the way that they explain it, this is after Chrono Trigger got ported to the DS. They put an extra bonus fight at the end of the game with Scala, so you can actually find out what happens to her because it's not covered in the Super Nintendo release.
No.
Right. This character gets fused with Lavos, or something Japanese happens. And
That was funny as we all know what that means.
That's the greatest explanation I've ever heard. Something Japanese happens.
and I'm
We
not
know
trying to be
that-
insensitive, but that's
No,
exactly
but
what happens to her.
I could actually. Yeah. No, go ahead.
And she is actually the pivotal force, the end boss to Chrono Cross. Yes, the being that she becomes when the two entities merge, Scala and Lavos, becomes I think it's called the Time Devourer, or something like that, the Dream Devourer, and that's the boss to Chrono Cross. You actually have to obliterate Scala.
See, that
With
just
the
makes it.
Chrono Cross.
That just
With the
makes
Chrono
it. That
Cross,
just
yeah.
makes it so much more beautiful, and it makes so much sense that this melody is taken over to Cross. And if you never played Trigger, you'd never get that little subtle
That's
thing.
really
Like,
cool.
That's brilliant. That's
Again, rewarding the
Yeah,
players
yeah.
for playing.
That's fantastic. That's the greatest thing that's ever been said on this show ever.
Side note to that, the character Kid from Chrono Cross is a clone of Scala.
Really?
Yes. It doesn't look anything like her. It doesn't sound like I would imagine her being, because Kid is like Australian or English or something.
Right.
You remember
Right.
her
Yes.
accent from
Yes.
the game?
Yes.
And Scala's like this, enlightened lady. So how they
well,
how
she's
they
been through a
became-
lot.
She's been through a lot. She's been through everything, man. But yeah, that's kind of why I picked this. But also, I really love the melody, and this is a really nice song.
I'm going to say something. I'm going to put it out there. I never played Chrono Cross, like past 20, 30 minutes. It's not that it's not an interesting game. It is. I would love to play it. I just could not get used to the magic system,
Right.
in that, especially like when you get, I know what you do. At the end of the game, to activate the Chrono Cross, you have to have things in a specific order.
Yep.
And the monster is attacking you at the same time, which could throw a wrench in your order. So you have to plan for every little thing. It just got too. It's the same reason. And I know Matt and I go back and forth on this, that I didn't like the magic system in 8. I think Final Fantasy VIII was a fantastic game, but I didn't like the fact that you couldn't just learn an ability. You had to keep drawing it, so it kind of dragged the game out. I just didn't like that aspect of it. If they didn't do that, I think that game would be absolutely amazing, and it still is amazing.
Right.
But it's just, that's why it's not my favorite, up there with my favorites. That's why I didn't really play through Chrono Cross. I own it. I have strategy guides for it. I just never sat down, and there's so many things to do in that game. I mean, there's so many characters. There's like 40 characters you can eventually get, and some of them you have to get like there's a skeleton that you need the bones of him to pick him up, and then once you get them all, you have a new character, and there's all these little things to do, which is great. It makes for an epic game, but
Right.
I couldn't get through that system.
I can understand that. It definitely takes some getting used to. It's very different, and it was like something you had never seen before. So it was just, it added that extra element that I can absolutely see people being turned off.
But to be fair,
from.
when I played it, it was out. It just came out.
Right.
So, I've grown a lot older since that time. And, so I might be able to wrap my head around something like that a lot better now than I did back when I was a kid.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? So I'm absolutely willing to give it another shot.
Well,
so.
that goes into that potential series we're talking about doing. We could absolutely have you try it on. Just be like, Steve rages. Let's see if Steve actually's grown as a person. First 5 minutes of Chrono Cross. No, I have not grown. I take back my statement. This is still garbage.
You can just choose not to use magic. I mean, You just hit
Well,
him
that's
with
true.
your weapons, and I mean that's the same thing I did in 8. I just put all the good magic into stats that let me kill enemies with my blade, and that's what I did.
But you can get an ending in Chrono Cross just by beating the boss. But unless you beat the boss with the Chrono Cross,
that's how
then
you
get a true
canon
ending.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you do have to get that
Right.
worked out.
Huh? Well, we'll have to do an experiment
It sounds
to
good
see
to
if
me.
you've grown as a person.
It sounds good to me.
Because I know I haven't. So
It sounds good to me.
I skipped a bit of a beat. Robo also is in Chrono Cross.
What?
Yeah.
where at?
Yeah. Well, it's going to take way too long to get into. But
Well, I mean, just answer me this: is he somebody you talk to, or do you just see him in a corner, just sitting there, power down? You're just like, "That's Robo," or do you actually? Is he somebody you can interact with?
You interact with him for
Oh,
a
cool.
very brief time, and then he is murdered.
So it's during
By 3PO.
So it's
By 3PO, yes! And then 3PO comes in.
that would be. I don't even know where to go with that. That's fantastic. I'm trying to come up with a 3PO line that would fit that, but it's just
I can't think of one.
I can't think of one.
Oh, listen to them to being murdered down there.
There you go. There you go. Perfect. So it's during obviously one of the time transitions is do you go, does it take you back to back in Trigger, or is Robo in the future
He's
area?
in the future.
I don't know why I keep doing hand motions. Nobody can see me.
I can see them, and it's very helpful. He's in a place called Chronopolis, which is a city that one of the characters from Trigger built. And,
Okay.
They utilize Robo as a protective seal,
Right.
but being that, he has to get destroyed for the plot to progress. So,
Right.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very, very sad times.
That is, but I love that. And I really need to go through and play these games because I still can't get over, what you said about this theme. That literally, is the reason why, why I love games. That they do just that little thing that rewards someone for being an attentive player and going through and doing things. You're just if I never played the game, I wouldn't appreciate that. And it's such a great reward.
Well, there's that, and these developers have created a world, and they understand that if I want to create a game and then have a sequel to it or something that's in that same vein, why not keep it within the same world? So things that you've seen here, you should be able to see here too,
Right.
in some aspect. So the fact that they put Robo in there, even for whatever it is, okay, there's a point to what he's doing and the position he's in and why you have to do all that, and it just makes it flow a lot easier.
Right,
Yeah.
right. No, I agree. I think it's great. I love it.
Because they don't have to keep reinventing new characters. You have people you already have that exist.
Right.
They've done that a couple times, like in Phantasy Star. You have Phantasy Star 1 and you have your 4 main characters. Well, in Phantasy Star 2 and 3, it makes they're not in the game, but it makes mention they are legends.
Right.
So even though they are not there, they did exist, and the things that they did in that game matter to what happens in this game. It's the same world.
Right, right,
And
right.
that's fantastic.
They do. Cross is such a dark game.
Mm-hmm.
What C was talking about just made me think. The 3 central characters of Trigger are in Cross, but in a very different capacity, in a very sad capacity. And he talked about inventing new characters. Chrono Cross, you can actually recruit a guy called Glenn,
Yeah.
which is Frog's human name when he's a human. And he learns, he wields the Mazimune, he does the X-Cross ability that Frog had, so is he the same Glenn?
That's
or is
awesome.
it,
Damn it. That's awesome.
There's a little cave girl in Cross that is the mother of Ayla. So,
See, now I have to play through Trigger.
Now, can I ask a stupid question?
No.
In Chrono Cross, okay.
not allowed.
Go ahead, sir. There are no stupid questions here.
In Chrono Cross, is it much like Chrono Trigger where you do a lot of different time traveling?
There are 2 worlds in Chrono Cross as opposed to, I think, the 4 or 5 that Trigger had. So there's home world, and then there's another world, and what you do in one inversely affects the other.
Yeah, it's not
Is it in the
prehistoric
future, or is it an alternate time?
It's,
an
it's an
alternate dimension?
alternate dimension. Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha,
It's just
okay.
a split. It's the same world, but things are eerily different in both.
So it's not really a time traveling game. It's more of a
Phase
cross dimensional. Yeah, a cross dimensional.
And this is
Right.
why I don't like time and space travel. It's just
Right.
but the way that they explain the 2 worlds occurring is that it happened because of time travel.
Okay.
Right.
So I mean, they get there in the end, but
everybody knows time travel is a sticky area to really. You can't really explain it super well, but they're like, we get the gist of it. This is cool.
they did their best, and it was a delightful little video game or two.
No,
So
yes,
Simply delightful.
We're going to be doing this all night. Before we move to your number one, we'll do something a little bit different. Steve and I picked number ones.
what?
Because I like to think that my number ones are typically better than Steve's, but I've been proven wrong on many occasions. Which that Punch Out, which obviously you completely wiped the floor with me on our sports one, so I gave that one to you. So there are many. I like to go in thinking that I'd make the better choices, but I'm not always correct with that. So we're going to put that to test tonight.
Okay.
So we'll see with Brian being the trigger
In
man.
unison.
I'm going to pull the trigger on our number ones, starting with you.
With me?
Yeah, I'm going to start with you because you are that guy.
That's all right. I'll take us out of the gate. Here we go.
Here we go.
The Millennial Fair.
I just had a very funny image of you playing the accordion, skipping down the street to this song. I don't know. I don't know why. I just imagined.
I just immediately thought of like a Renaissance fair, but like in Russia or something.
Our minds are in two completely different places, and I think that's awesome.
Or did it?
See that? So yeah, this is right at the beginning of the game, right? This is your first shebang going into
This is right before the jury selection that Brian was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And there's so much you can do before the game even starts. I mean, all those normally like you think of 7, you get the golden saucer, you have to wait a little while to get to that stuff. But
Right.
in Trigger, you start out playing mini games, and it's just right out the gate.
Absolutely.
I think that's great.
Well, it was for at the time, it was just kind of like a little tutorial on how your things work and things like that. But then, as you find out, they have consequences.
Yep.
So you have to pay attention. You don't realize it 'cause you're so wrapped up in, which is true to life. You don't understand like when things are happening. Sometimes the repercussions of what could happen.
Right.
So you're in the moment and you're like, oh, this thing's really cool. Oh, I better pay attention to that cat that's over there because I might need to.
Yeah.
Who thinks of that? And then all of a sudden it's like, oh crap, what was that cat? Oh, okay. And then you get thrown in jail, apparently. So
That's what happens,
Next
kids.
time, pay attention to that cat. He needed food. You neglected him. Now he's dead.
unless he's a Digimon, and then he would just
Poop.
poop and then eat it and then evolve into a slime monster.
Shakes head.
Yep.
There's a new Digimon game out. I didn't know.
I can't believe that's still
PS4.
around.
I thought that
Yeah.
ended in like the 50s.
Yep. Time travel, kids.
Yes. So, like, what do you have a particular thing you love doing, like at the fair before like the game began? Like, I know there was like 10 different activities.
I don't
wasn't there?
remember. I honestly don't remember.
I like the race. You can go up and race because like you
can
like,
bet.
Yeah, and there was I always picked wrong, but that usually goes side by side with the choices I make with my life as well. So
They should have like frog hopping races, and then like bring Frog in. Like you bring Frog in, and like just
you
wipe
just
the
see him
floor with
diving and
everybody.
he just stabs the other 2 frogs and just gracefully just walks
walks
across
over.
with his fingers in the air as he got
and walks up to the child and just drops the frog in front of him and walks away.
frog legs for dinner tonight.
This is horrible.
Really, really
what a way to
dark.
start the game out. It's fantastic. If you saw that, you'd be like, please tell me I recruit that guy. Please.
Oh, you want to challenge me? Okay,
Yeah.
well now this is
He
happening.
just killed animals and
Stab.
watched in front of kids. This dude does not care.
And then you pop the balloon.
Yeah, he
On his
just
way
cuts
out,
the
just-
string and it goes up. Problem? Didn't think so. And ribbit and hops off into the
and
water.
then ribbons pops off. Yeah, I just really love this music. It really sets the scene, and it has that feel of a fair.
No, it does, absolutely.
And so I thought it fit very, very well.
Yeah, it's good. Very good number one.
What is your number one, sir?
My number one is about to get real. And it's about
All
to
right.
get deep. Real deep. Like
Is this a pun?
down deep under the water.
Wow, two very different flavors.
Very different. Yeah, this is the Undersea Palace. Now, granted, I've never played the game, but I've heard this soundtrack. I mean, no, I've said that. I've been saying that all night long. I haven't gone through this game, but I've listened to this soundtrack like a ton of times. Definitely more than you, because
He pointed at you, man.
I did. No, but it's just I think this song and stuff that I've heard. I mean, there's so much going on in this track. It's like it's like evil, then it gets to like a happy place, and it gets like a scared place. There's so much going on. If what I've read and what you've told me, this particular dungeon is like a complete like mind screw. It's like,
Oh man,
yeah,
maybe not the dungeon itself, but the purpose of it and everything that happens there.
right.
Bad times.
Lavos.
Bad times.
Evil shakes fist at the lava man.
Lava man.
Lavos. Am I just completely ruining?
Yeah,
I mean,
No,
should I
Matt,
not
okay.
even be on
All
this
right.
podcast anymore?
No. I'm gonna save you, okay? Yes. Lavos because he's deep underground where the lava is.
See,
Okay.
he
He's
makes
not called
friends.
Larvos.
He's the king
Wow.
of the lava people.
He just threw you an escape rope.
He did. Thank you. all I had to do was
Nice. Good
all I had
job,
to do
man.
was not roll a 1 on my d20 and I'd be saved. And I
He's
rolled
so
a 2.
one of us. One of us.
Yes. So yeah, this is why I picked it. I love the way this track sounds. I feel like it incorporates like so many different elements into it, and it just it's awesome.
It's a good pick. It's where the story takes a turn for the worse. Okay, and then they delay this. Like the story goes on a tangent for like a year, and then you get back on track.
nice.
But
It goes on a tangent like Cats Revive.
Yeah, it was like
and then it comes back.
just like this podcast. So
it's a good tangent, though. It's a good track.
nice. Good. Thank you. What do you think, Steve?
It is good. Like I said, this is like two different ends of the spectrum here.
Yeah,
You know, you have the darker one, you have mine that's the lighter one. You know, they're both very, very good. But then again, I don't think there was honestly a bad track on this entire album.
It just goes to say that you start the game on such a happy, fun note, and then it can get extremely dark, and it's just it does it. It takes you on both ends of the spectrum.
Dark,
It's,
like 6 feet underground. Dark.
That's right. That's how we get in this podcast.
Whoa.
Cast Revive After Dark. Things get real. Speaking of getting real, we're going to get things real on your number one, Brian, because as the guest, you have a lot to prove here.
Oh, okay.
So, not to put him on the spot,
I thought my day job was bad.
but let's see what you got here. What do we got here, boss man?
Corridors of Time.
Yes.
I think probably like the most popular Chrono Trigger song for non-Chrono Trigger people, or maybe even all Chrono Trigger people too.
I thought this was off like the new Enigma album.
Does sound like it.
I don't know. It's like start meditating to this song or something.
I just think of real peaceful wind chimes in like the beginning for like ding. I don't know why I think of that with wind chimes. I don't make any sense. I'm just gonna put that out there. Everything I've tried to explain or go through, I sound like a 5-year-old.
You ready to be saved again?
Yes, please do.
You said wind chimes. This is the music for the Kingdom of Zeal, which is floating in the air. So
See, I know there's a reason.
So why don't they use wind scene for that then?
Why don't I use wind scene? Or why don't they?
They
Because this like takes it to a whole new level.
yeah,
like wind versus gale force, or
That's right. It's like tornado and hurricane. You know, it's like thunderstorm versus flash flood.
where are we going?
No
I
idea.
don't know.
Somebody just cut my mic off. I'm
go home. You're drunk.
I'm completely ruining this fine episode. I feel like I am.
No, you're only adding to it.
Yes.
But you're drunk. Go home.
So what? Why do you pick the Shack? What is it? What is it that makes this your number one?
Probably the synthesized sitar. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just so good. It's It's chill. It's like it's got a little bit of melancholy in it.
Yeah.
Which is fitting because this is like the point in the game where caca hits the fan. Like,
I need to use that word from now on.
It sounds like it'd be like something like in the really like ornate palace kind of thing.
yes, ornate because these are the enlightened people. They live in the sky. The scum of the earth live down on the ground. So these are the royalty. They dress in purple, I think, which is like a
Symbol for
Royalty.
royalty. Yeah,
I think you're dressed in purple, Matt.
that's true. Orlando City Soccer, baby. Yeah, opener. Sorry.
Good one.
Somebody was supposed to cut my mic off an hour ago, okay?
This is the kingdom where Scala comes from, where Janus comes from. It's where you find out that these people are using Lavos, which is the central antagonist of the game, to power their civilization.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
So, obviously, that all goes to hell real quick.
So this is when you find this, like, do you know of these people early on in the game, and then like, you're trying to figure out how he's coming, like, to be, and was that like a whole like, whoa, that was just like a mind like?
You mean Lavos?
No, these people, because you said that they're using Lavos to.
So these people you meet when you hear this music, right?
Okay.
Like this is the first time you see them, but the big reveal is that they're using Lavos, which you discovered is the thing that destroys the planet as their power source.
But is this the reason why he's destroying the planet? Is because of them using him?
Yes, exactly. So Lavos is like a, I wouldn't say little, but he's a babby entity, and he's draining the power of the planet to evolve and become the thing that he's meant to be. And the enlightened ones who live in Zeal are using a device called the Mammon Machine to draw power from Lavos. And the closer the Mammon Machine gets to Lavos, the sooner he is going to wake up and wreak havoc. So you have to put a stop to them, right?
Right.
You can't let that happen. But they also have this really crazy queen who wants to be immortal, and she's using the Mammon Machine to do that, unbeknownst to her people.
Right.
So her hubris causes the downfall of the kingdom of Zeal, and it goes bye-bye.
It just
I
kind
don't know
of
about-
breaks apart and falls
I was
out
gonna
of the
say-
sky. And
I
just,
was gonna say, I don't know about you bringing vocab up in this podcast here, but
I'm
more than once I've had to look up on myself. What the hell did that mean?
I'm on dictionary.com.
You mean
The.
bye-bye?
Okay,
Oh, that's
got it.
right. He's a writer. Gotta-
See, we add some flair.
Can you speak into Google Translate for me, please? What did that just mean?
We're not recognized.
We are very sophisticated now, and I like it. I like it.
Come in here with like smoking jackets and pipes next time. Yes. So this week on Cast Revive.
You have me can't even put a proper sentence together, and Brian's writing in foreign languages over here, so I love it.
Shallow and pedantic.
Shallow and pedantic. Good number one.
Very good.
I think it takes a dump all over mine, to be quite honest, because of like everything that's like. Well, I mean, when you explain it to like what is happening at this point, it fits, and it's just like
Right.
it's epic. It's not. That's the thing. You have to look at like not just like from a music standpoint, but what is going on at that particular moment, and it's like, whoa, this actually fits what you just described perfectly. So
I personally think the best track we've heard all night was Robo's theme.
Rick
Just
Astley.
it's Madonna.
I got to say though, you're onto something, because when I played this game, it was like my turning point, I guess. Like
Right.
when I was just playing games and they were like silly, like Mario Kart, and then when I played a game that had a story that like grabbed me and that I could get involved with, and
Right.
just like when these characters had their little plights, I was so attached to them.
Yeah.
And watching the Kingdom of Zeal fall into the ocean was like, it made me teary.
That's how you know you make a successful game.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
that-
If Brian cries, it's a good game.
I mean, if you feel any kind of emotion in an RPG,
Yeah.
you're doing your job. If you can get through an RPG and be like, I didn't feel anything, then either you're a sociopath or the company did not do their job properly.
It's usually when like your characters die. That there was a game Vi for the Sega CD, VAY, and halfway through the game, one of your coolest like characters just gets shot with an arrow. Boom, done. You're like, oh, that's cool. Phoenix. No, he's If you see a cutscene and it happens, he's not coming back.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I cry at least 4 times a day, just like random stuff. You know, like I see.
Yeah, usually has to trip one in the morning when he wakes up.
I mean, I see a leaf on the ground. I'm just like that tree that used to be attached to a tree. You know, and I just get real sad. But the worst,
sunset.
the worst,
The sun is so beautiful.
the worst was Crisis Core for me when I had to watch Zach's demise. It was in the middle of the night, and I lost it. If somebody were to drive by, they probably thought I just got like the worst news of my life. I'm just waving people through the
Wow, you did. Zach died.
I'm just waving people through the checkpoint, not even checking their badge. Just go. I mean, I can't deal with this right now.
You had to call your mom. It's like, I can't believe he's gone.
I can't believe it. This is just horrible. But it's I mean, you know, we go over this all the time, but it's so important, especially in an RPG. You can become attached to these characters, like in TV shows, you know, and it's just like you don't want to lose them, you know. And then when they do, you're just like, and then whenever you hear that track that associates with them, they bring back all those feelings, and it's just it's fantastic. That's why music is so important.
I don't want to bring up a spoiler alert.
You already did.
But it's not a spoiler for this game. But we all know there's a death in the game that hit everybody.
Yeah, can I be honest real quick?
I hope so.
For me, it didn't.
What?
Nope. Because once I didn't have to use her anymore, I never did again.
But because you didn't have to. But she was so awesome. If you took the time, she had some spells that were just like instant invincibility, pretty much. And you just go wreck things, and then it's gone, and it's gone.
Well, the first time I played through it, she was in my main party,
right?
So I lost literally everything that I had. I was just like, "Are you serious?" Like literally, right?
Because she has that gospel hand or something like that, and she casts that, and it's full life, full magic, and you're invincible.
Yeah. For
what?
Cheat mode activated.
Where were you like when I'm fighting like this giant creature that took me 4 hours? Where were you?
Yeah, you know, it's we all know Brian's stance on 7, so
I like it. It's just not my favorite.
No, which is absolutely fine. Which is what makes it great.
Because that's not my favorite either,
and it's not my favorite either. You know, 6, 3, 6,
12.
What is going on here? I was like, dude, 12.
I was looking at fingers.
7 I held up my index finger in a peace sign, and Steve didn't know it was 12.
What? I'm getting more confused now. He's like moving them around. And
it's that sophisticated, you know,
not playing charades with Ryan ever.
Oh man, this is why we need a video feed. We need a video feed. That is awesome. That is awesome. Well, good job on your number 1, Brian.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us from behind the mixing board,
behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Behind the curtain.
You'll be hearing more of Brian. Brian is now an official member of this team. So we just figured what better way to really welcome him in is to pick his favorite game of all time. So
absolutely,
happy to be here. Happy to have you on board.
I notice we haven't picked ours yet.
You do much better at mixing than I do,
well,
which is now my job. So I feel really bad.
Well, you have to understand, I have a little bit more experience with it, but yeah, like it'll become second nature for you. So it's just takes some time. We're here to have fun. So it's you know, and thank you guys for listening. You know, it just got really creepy.
Yeah,
that voice.
It's the diet. I'm just going to tell you, it's the diet that I'm on. This like cleansing thing. It's really messing.
It's
with
cleansing something. We need to.
It's cleansing my IQ straight out of my skull. But we want everybody to follow us on all of our social media: Facebook, Twitter. We have a YouTube channel now, and we're putting up all of our episodes in video format, not like video camera, but I have audio spectrum stuff going on in the background. So if you don't want to listen on iTunes, anything like that, check us out on YouTube. We're going to be starting some other video capture stuff as well. That's going to be cool. But we're at Twitter at CastSurvive. Shoot us an email, castsurvive@gmail.com. All the good stuff. But subscribe. Leave us your comments. Engage in conversation, because every episode is driven and led by your guys' discussion. So we want ideas on what you want us to cover. And if you want me off the show, just take a vote. You know,
no, we don't want that.
Go to strawpoll.com and just say, Matt, in or out. And look at 99% is out. So it's okay. You guys can still use all my stuff. You'll hear me in the background. Did they say anything about me, guys?
Hey, guys, can I come over?
Yeah, block that comment. Don't let Matt see it. Someone wants to know if you're dead yet, Matt. It's like, no, not yet. Yeah.
Hey, I want to give a shout out to all of our new listeners that we have been getting.
Yes.
I've been hearing a lot of people talking about us out there in the community, and coming up to face and saying how awesome of a podcast we have going on, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, it's great to hear everyone say that, because we do put a lot. Even though this is our passion, this is for fun, but it's great to see that people are really appreciating. This is a very different style of podcast than, there's a lot of really great video game podcasts out there. So the fact you're listening to us really, and, as well as others, it's just, we want to do something a little bit different, one that just strictly focuses on the community and is led by what you guys want to hear, rather than, because if it was just me picking content every single time, I would probably pick like the same 5 things. So it's like, all right.
Here's Contra, the fight music again.
That's right. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Contra one. It's just gonna be the snow theme for 5 things. You got a problem with that? Next week we'll move on to Contra snow theme. Thank you so much. I'm so legit. I tell you, I'm the king of the crop.
Too legit to quit.
Dude, see that?
Yeah.
That should be our outro.
Too legit to quit.
A Chrono Trigger.
Why
remix
do I
of-
remember this?
Yeah, you did just know that. That's fantastic. Well, thank you guys very much for everything. We've got some really cool stuff coming next couple of weeks. We got some guests coming on and some awesome games to talk about. So again, follow us, leave us comments, and subscribe on iTunes. Please leave us your comments, all that stuff. We want to know if we're doing good, if we're doing bad, what we can change, all that good stuff. So again, from all of us here at Cash Revive, we want to thank you guys for listening, and we're going to lead you out with a little At the End of Time, because it's the end of the podcast.
So we're out of time.
So Brian was brilliant for coming up with that, as he normally is on everything that he does. So thank you guys, and peace out.
Good night.
Bye.